Hello, folks. Glad you could be with me today. Uh, I just wanted to kind of talk about politics today. Uh, Getting close, just a few months away for the election. Just to let you know, I am as of many years ago, I was a registered Democrat and still am. Uh, but I haven't voted for the Democratic Party since John F. Kennedy was, running for the office. But the only way I can keep up with what the left's going, stay on that side. And I get letters all the time telling me what's going on, and uh, they left me a long time ago. But anyhow, yes, they found Donald Trump guilty. It was a sham court, fixed from the start, and I think he'll beat it in appeals court, which he's already appealed it. And let me know your thoughts on it. That's what it's all about, just a discussion. Nobody needs to get mad or anything. And I'd like for you to go ahead and subscribe to my channel. It'll help it grow. And Lord knows I need it to grow. Trying to get it big enough for that boy of mine or grandson of mine to want to do it when I kick the bucket. I'm 80 years old and I ain't got, even if I live to be 90, I ain't got but 10 years to go. That's not very long in the scheme of things. But give us a like button if you like the format. If you don't, that's fine. I'd like to have the like button, but it's up to you. Don't cost you a thing to subscribe or for the like button. I'm sure you know that. But as a little past history there, Fannie Willis's case all just went to pot. She got in more trouble than she'll ever cause for uh, Donald Trump. And when it's all over and said and done, if he sues her, she might be out a lot more than she was trying to get out of him if she got it. Which, as much as she's embezzled, she's probably got it. But and also up there in New York at Judge Bashan, or ever how you pronounce his name, they're getting in more trouble now that it's over with than they even thought they'd ever be in. But uh, anyhow, um, like I say, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you can. Um, I got a thing in the mail the other day that's saying that my insurance is going to drop my doctor. And uh, they're trying to get a negotiation to where he can save, but that'll probably end bad. I hope it don't, because I like my doctor. But if he's not in my immediate network, I'm going to have to drop him. And glad to have y'all on here. We're going to talk a little politics today. Uh, just comment on whatever about Donald Trump you want to. Uh, I'll let you know right now I'm for Donald Trump in this election. I think Joe Biden has got us in a terrible hurt with this border crisis, and it's a crisis, believe me. Uh, I know how easy it is to get across that border now, not where he got the fence put up, but everywhere there's not a fence there that he put up, it's easy to get across. And he'll start that back as soon as he gets elected. And I think he'll still get elected once the appeals process takes place. And as of right now, there's more people for him in New York than they are the the Democrats for Biden. Biden ain't doing no good at all in New York, and just like to hear your comments on it. That's how we get more discussion going and more people involved. Um, uh, they started a whole new epidemic. I can't even remember now what it's called to come up for the election, and can't think of what they called it now. If you remember, give me a call or give me a chat. I can't remember what the company called it, but it's supposed to be pretty bad. But I don't think they'll stop work over it. They can't afford to. But it's politics is getting to be a funny thing anymore. It's you never know where anybody really stands, except for maybe Donald Trump. He tells you right up front where he stands. And when he ran the last time, got elected, he did everything that he could do to uh, do what he said. Now, some things that the Senate and Congress didn't go along with, but that tells you how mixed up that is. So I kind of knew it just talking politics stuff, but anyhow, everybody told me not to get into it. I'm not out to win a discussion or anything. Just voice an opinion. You can voice yours, and we'll go from there. Um, what do y'all think about Australia going cashless? They're not using cash over there no more. I think it's already went into effect on the 1st of June, if I'm not mistaken. But they're going to keep the little places where you can go get money. You can still do that for a while at the ATMs. I don't know. Excuse me. I don't know how long they'll do that, but they'll have to do it for a little while because everybody ain't ready to go cashless. Of course, I've been that way. I carried. I haven't had $20 in my billfold in 10 years. Uh, I either write a check or use a debit card, and uh, just as easy for me because I don't need no cash. I don't. I don't do credit. I've never had to make a payment on a credit card. I just pay all my bills by debit, and anything that I buy, I use a debit card. And to me, that's all right. But y'all let me know your feelings about that. And they're coming along good on the bridge in Baltimore. They moved uh, that one of them big structures out. I believe it was yesterday. Got it out of the way, and it might have been the day before. My days kind of run together. I had to take my grandson to Columbus. He's moving up there for his graduate work, him and his fiance, and they'll be up there probably about 6 years. Of course, I told them they'd probably decide to stay up there because Columbus, nice place. They talk about how bad it is, but it ain't no worse than the other big cities around. It's a lot cleaner, I know that. But you know, I see we got one person there. Give us a like and a comment if you can down there on the chat. I talked to a guy the other day, first time he had ever chatted on stuff, and we kept a conversation going for about an hour and a half. So I thought he done pretty good, and he done a lot better than I did. Another young boy got into it with us there for a little bit, wanting to know some things about how to save money and how to not buy stuff when he thinks he wants it and stuff like that. But we'll talk about anything you want to, politics, If we get on fishing, it's all right to me. I don't care. I just want to talk a little bit of politics today, see how everybody else thought. But yeah, that trip up to Columbus, that was uneventful. I made it back about oh 5:30 or 6, I don't know, in the evening, and come in, went right straight to bed. But I was wore out. Get wore out, get a lot easier going up and down steps. He had 3 flights that was better, a little bit better than a 45-degree angle, and we had to walk up that sucker. Uh, it was, well, shoot, it was about that steep, and pretty tough on the old man carrying stuff. So when we got there, I seen how steep they were, and 18 steps to a flight, or 19, whichever it was. I told him, I said, I'm going to find me a chair and I'll put stuff together as you bring it up. And I found a chair, and I don't think I ever got out of the chair until they had it all unloaded. And they done a pretty good job at it. But I told them, I said, y'all got a lot of things going on in Columbus. He said, what, like what? I said, well, it's one of the best fairs you'll ever go to for the state fair. I said, it's rated #1 for a long time and the biggest for a long time now. It might be some bigger now, I don't know. But they have more good acts like country acts and music, and stuff like that than most of them do. And it got a good college football team, got a good college basketball team, one of the nicest uh, campuses in the United States, I think. And they really got a lot of things going for them up there. The weightlifting championships, sometimes they have the strongman championships there, and that's well worth the money to go to my book. But um, anyhow, uh, hope maybe you can, person that's on there, maybe you can. Oh, David, glad to have you, buddy. Um, have you been on for a little bit? Or are you the one that is on? Uh, what do you think about the coming up election? How you feel about it? Uh, I just got a 1 second delay on here, so you don't have to wait very long for it to get to me. I just had to happen to look down and seen that you'd uh, put something down there. Uh, if you like this kind of stuff, David, just send me a like button or hit the like button and subscribe if you can. Well, buddy, it makes two of us. I don't even know half of what I'm doing. I've been sitting here all morning trying to figure out how to join two videos together, so the next time I do a 1 and 2, I don't have to make them a 2 part. I can join them together and they be continuous. I got me a new uh, uh, well, whatever you call it, a new app. It's supposed to be user friendly, and ain't nothing user friendly to me. But uh, I was able to get one on there. I don't know how it's going to work, but um, well, uh, I don't know how you do it, David. On if I'm watching stuff on television, I know how to do it, but I don't know how you do it on this. I don't really know. I'd have to. I don't know. exactly how you do it on this. Oh, I see it. It's up there above my glasses. My well, to you it'd be on your right side, right where that thumbs up is, on top of the screen there. Can you see that? That's the way it is on my screen here. And so far, I ain't had a like, but if you can find it, that's where it's at. You got the live and then the time. And, oh, well, that's on mine. I don't know. Yeah, I got it there. I see the like number one come up with the like button. I appreciate that, David. Really do. And like I say, I haven't got but 68 subscribers, and I'm hoping to get some more. I'm gonna do more of these. I've had so much on my plate, getting my grandson taken care of, uh, making sure he don't forget stuff. Uh, on my screen, David, it's the right. It's a thumbs up button. You'll see a little thumbs up somewhere on the screen there somewhere. It's like a little glove or a little hand sticking with the thumb up, and it don't have a thumbs down button, so uh, it's the only one it's got. Somebody somebody clicked on it, so somebody found it, but I never did see the second person. Uh, but yeah, it's a little thumbs up button. It don't say like on it, just say thumbs up. That's what it means, though. Oh yeah, you got it, huh? Okay. Well, that's good. Huh? Oh, but you are you old enough to? I'm waiting for you to do the video on the concrete work. Well, buddy, we done that concrete work, and they the boys that was doing the concrete work didn't want me to do no video on it. They didn't want to be on television, and so I didn't do a video on it because I appreciate them asking me not to do that, and so I didn't. And uh, they didn't even want me walking around and getting their backside, so I just didn't do it at all. But they done a good job on it. Uh, I will take a picture of it next time I do it if you're on. Of course, here it'd be a learning curve again. I'd have to figure out how to incorporate it with my next live chat. I don't know, but it's something else to learn, I guess. Uh, I don't know how you. I've seen some people that's got a live chat and they hold up a picture and or something like that. I guess I don't know. Yeah, 66 is a good age. I remember when I was 66, and I was still running around a lot, doing little. Well, Texas is a good place. I've been down there to. I've been to Corpus Christi. I've been to Dallas. Been to uh, Austin. Been to uh, uh, Fort Sam and Houston. Been in oh shoot, what's that big one there? And right outside of Dallas, huh, one of the biggest ones we got. I can't think of it right now. At Fort Hood, that's what I'm trying to think of. Uh, I've been all around Fort Hood and different places. Saw one of the biggest grasshoppers I ever saw in my life. You probably seen them. Don't think nothing about it. But I was taking a convoy down to uh, South Fort Hood to pick up food for the chow hall. We had about 20 trucks in the formation, and And I looked over. I was going by this little swamp area, not really a swamp, but just a kind of a lower end. The trees was laying around it and everything. A little bit of water standing, not much. And I looked over there and I said, I wasn't sure what I seen. I stopped that whole convoy and I got out and I walked over there, and it was a grasshopper about, well, how did I get my fingers? Uh, well, see, I ain't no good at that even. Uh, it was a grasshopper about, I'm moving my left from my right. It was about 16 inches long, and when it was sitting on the ground, it was about 9 inches tall. Have you ever seen one of them? They was about six of them there together. Well, they'd take a hunk out of you if they wanted to bite you. But have you ever seen any of them? And I come back to that convoy. I said, boys, you said, right there's the biggest grasshopper I've ever seen. And they, like I say, it was about six of them, and that was the biggest ones they'd ever seen because they was all from the same place I was. But I guess a lot of things do grow bigger in Texas. After I got home, I looked that up on the computer, and they said that there was about a 16 to 19-inch grasshopper lived down in Texas. I don't know what they called it, but he's a big sucker. Yeah, I love to go to Fort Hood. Well, I don't know. Well, maybe they were just right native to Fort Hood, but you can look it up in the uh, on the computer, and it'll tell you about some big ones down there. I might be wrong on an exact number of inches they said they grow, but no, it's look it up when you get a chance, and just look for what's the late. I think the way I looked it up, what's the largest grasshoppers in Texas? How big are they? And it'll come right up. It won't take long at all because I guess a lot of people have seen them and asked about it. But yeah, it's they're big suckers. It take a huge bass to take one of them down. And I've used grasshoppers a lot of times bass fishing. Put them on a little bitty hook, about a number two or three hook, and just let it kind of drift on top of the water. Cause we got them up here oh about that long during hay season, but that's big enough to catch a bass. But at 15, 16 inch, and 9 inch, and whatever old tall, that's something else to me. But what do you think, David, about this upcoming election? You think Donald Trump's still going to get in, or you think Biden will? David was looking up that grasshopper, I believe. I don't blame him. It's kind of hard to believe, but I saw him that big. I stopped that whole convoy and showed it to all of them, and they didn't offer to. They wasn't afraid of us because they sat right there. I'd say that thing had a foot wingspan or more, but I didn't see them take off. Made me wonder about the wild boar down there. If they're big compared to the grasshoppers, they got some giants down there. But the world's a funny place. These things, I guess, they ain't never found before, and people find them and they're amazed. Well, that's all right. We can talk about Texas. One thing I like about Texas, uh, and when I was down Fort Hood is mainly where I found them out. Just about everywhere you go, there's wild grapes are growing all over Fort Hood. And boy, I love wild grapes. And these were a blue grape. I don't think it was a Concord, but they might have been. I don't know. But boy, and they was purple ones too, but they're good. Uh, that's one place I can go and get my fill on grapes because They are really, really good. But you're right. They are grasshoppers up to 6.5 inches, like you said. Well, uh, it might have been that when I saw them, they just so big that I might have thought they was pretty long, but 6.5 is a big grasshopper. That'd catch a big bass, wouldn't it? Uh, when you see something like that the first time, you might a little overemphasize the size of them, but I think they some that's even bigger. I think I got uh, some article that said they was up in the teens long. So I don't know. I won't, but they might 6.5 might be the longest. But that's sure that's sure amazing to your mind when you see something that big, even at 6.5 inches, because that's a whopper of a grasshopper right there. Uh, One time I was telling my grandson a little something I'd seen, and he had never believed. And he said, "What's that, Papa?" I said, "Well," I said, "I was going down this dirt road in Texas." And I said, I looked over to the side a little bit, and I seen two frogs, a frogging on a frogging log. And I told the boy that was sitting in the car with me, I said, that's the first I ever seen that. I'll never see anything to beat that. And I said, then it wasn't another 100 feet or yards or so, whatever it was. I seen two chugs of chugging on a chugging log. And I said, boy, son, I said, that's the first time I ever seen that. I said, never seen nothing to beat that. We went on about another 100 yards. I said, there's two frigs on a friggin' log, a friggin'. And he said, you'll never see nothing to beat that, Papa. I said, no, sure won't. I bet we didn't go another 100 yards. And there's that two friggin' frogs on a friggin' log chugging on a frogging log, on a frogging log. And I said, that has to take the cake. But have you ever seen any of them big boars they got down there in Texas? I don't know how big they get in Texas. All of them I see on television about I think about 300 pounds. Yeah, that was a cute little funny to my grandpa. I used to have I'd have to discipline them when they was little. Uh, I told them, I said, boys, you don't straighten up, I'm going to slop your drippers. And boy, they were scared to death of that. I used that on them all their life up until they got 12, 15 years old. And I quit though. My youngest one, Dylan, I told him that one time, and we was at a service station. He had acted a fool, and the walking stick can kill him. No, I didn't know that. They kill a hummingbird. Uh, I've never. I think about the biggest walking stick I've ever seen was about. Now I might be wrong, about 5 or 6 inches long, but is that the size you're talking about? I don't even see how in the world they could catch a hummingbird as slow as they move. But I take your word for it. But I told my grandson, my youngest one, he was trying to duck around the aisleway in the service station. I thought he was in the bathroom, and I was standing there waiting on him. And so I told his brother, I said, go out there and see if he's at the car, or if we missed him or what. And Caleb or my grandson went out there, and he come back in and said, Papa, oh, he's out here at the car just laughing on his way, self death. And because you couldn't find him. And I went out there, I said, young man, I'm going to slop your drippers if you ever do that again. and he thought he was in bad trouble. And I had to end up telling him what that meant. I told him, I said, son, I said, all that means is drop your slippers, turn backwards, and mess the wording up, and it just called slop your drippers. And he went in from a crying to a cry or a laughing, and he was crying his eyes out. I couldn't stand to see him cry over something that I was just acting fool. I didn't get mad because he was hiding from me, because that's part of the game, ain't it? Yeah, I've heard that they call I forget what they called them, a Goliath hog or whatever it meant, big, whatever it was. But yeah, I seen that report on television, but I ain't never seen one that big. And I seen them the other night taking uh, a helicopter and chasing them hogs. And some of them old boys taking one shot per hog, they was hitting them pretty good. And I seen another chopper later on. They was using M16 or M60 on automatic and was taking them down, but they was missing about as many shots as they was hitting. They was just wasting ammo, my back. But that one guy, every time he pulled the trigger, he was hitting them hogs. And I think they weighed about 250, 300, something like that. But they got a bunch of them. You live in the northern part around Dallas or uh, Fort Worth or down towards Corpus Christi or where? Well, um, the only place I've ate wild hog over in Florida at Savannah at Fort Campbell. I said Florida, I meant Georgia at Savannah, Georgia. Fort Campbell down there. Um, they've got wild hogs, and we would kill one there every summer that we had camp there. And yeah, yeah, I like west side of Fort Worth, but we had uh, killed one just about every summer for years, and they were good. But now I don't know about them big ones. That was only we only usually try to get about a 250, 100. Well, even 200 was plenty because there's only a handful of us that would indulge in the goodness of it, and they were good. And we dig us a pit and put uh, uh, charcoal down in the bottom of the pit and lay it on a big steel uh, grid. It was solid steel. We'd put down in there, and oh, we'd lay the hogs about oh 6 foot, 4 foot, about 4 foot, I guess, was above that, and have a bar there we carried with us every year and went down there. We put him on that bar and we just slowly turn him and let him roast. But I don't know about them Wiggins. They'd yeah, I eat a lot of carp when I was little. I haven't ate so much of it since I've been big, but when I was little, my grandfather he loved carp. That was his favorite fish, and he knew how to take that bloodline out and take that mud taste out of them. I don't know if you call it a mud line or a bloodline, whatever it was he was calling, and he'd take that out and he'd uh, he'd leave the head on them and cook them like they did overseas, and oh shoot, they was good. I liked them. A lot of times he would grind them up, bone and all, in the hamburger maker or grinder, and he'd grind them things up and make them like salmon patties. And oh boy, they was good. And yeah, back when I was in the early part of the military, whenever I'd go to Texas or Mississippi, where there was a stream close by that had carp in it. You bet I was there getting me a carp because they're a lot easier to catch than bass. I used to go in the northern places now, say Ohio and Kentucky, along in there in the summertime. I just get in the water and catch them with my hands because they get underneath the banks, And but I ain't gonna do that down there in Florida and places like that, Mississippi, because you get them gators under them banks too, and I don't want to mess with them. I caught a gator one time about 4 foot long on my Snagler Sally, on the last Snagler Sally I had, and I love them for bass. And yeah, they are fun to catch. They fight good on rod and reel. And I caught an alligator one time on a Snagler Sally. It was the last Snagler Sally I had, and most places was quitting using Snagler Sally because they went to all these other fancy spinning outfit baits, and they kind of forgot about the Snagler Sally. But the Snagler Sally was number one lure for about 30 years, and I used to catch a place called Carnico Lake in Kentucky. I used to catch up to 100 a day with that Snagler Sally and a green frog pork rind behind it, and sometimes I'd use that little more yellowish pork rind behind it, and boy, it's a big yellow cat, ain't it? Biggest yellow cat I ever caught, I guess, was about 12 pounds, I think. I know they can get bigger than that in some places, but 74 pounds, I didn't know. Boy, that's probably a record. Did he have it official or weighed or what? That's the biggest one I ever heard of myself. Did he catch it in Texas? Uh, uh, Chat in on your computer? Yeah. Uh, do you have to type in your chat, David, or can you put it in by sound, by mic? Reason I ask that, I never did chat before I got my YouTube channel, and I don't know if I could have talked to him by mic like I'm doing now or not. I know on my telephone you can get a mic to work on it. You type, yeah. Um, yeah, I quit using that uh, big long drawed out 10, 15-second delay because it takes long enough to get a thing back uh, the way you're doing it right now. But you're pretty quick. I wouldn't be. I'm a one key puncher. Yeah, that'd be nice if you could, wouldn't it? What's the biggest fish you ever caught? Carp or otherwise? do, do you ever fish for blue cats or flathead catfish? Yeah, I don't know either. It might be a way you could use it. I just don't know. I'm just not familiar with it. No, I'm learning this. I'm just sometimes uh, do a video and I'll make a mistake and I hit the wrong button and delete it and have to do it all again. Oh, I hate that. I couldn't go. I'm 80 years old and I go fishing. Well, me and David, a buddy of mine named David, uh, we go fishing, catfish fishing, and I got a bass boat that I'm uh, having my son put new doors on it. Hinges cut loose on it. It's a Cheater SX. It's a '78 model and still looks like a brand new one. And uh, we go fishing all the time. Me and David do, and we're getting ready. I think uh, not this week, but I think next week we're going to go do some crappie fishing, and at the same time, hopefully catch some either moon eye or I can't catch over. I think it's 10 or 20 we can get during a day for bait, but I think ten's all we ever get because we try to catch moon eye or skipjack, which both the same family, skipjack herring, and uh, the other day we went and they was on the nest and we caught one at about 4 pound and I said, well, that's a yearling. I said, that's a 3 or 4 pound. They get that big the first year or second year anyhow. And that's a good sign when you got small ones like that and bluefish. But I don't know. I think I'm a thinking Kentucky record for bluefish is about 80 something pound, I think. And I have no idea where that was caught on rod and reel. I think it has to be rod and reel to be a record. But I caught back several years ago. I caught a 90. I started to say it was 82 pound blue cat, and but I caught it by accident because I was fishing for bass when I caught it, and that was oh I was about 20 some years old when I caught that one. I wasn't even fishing for it, but I didn't weigh it or anything. I weighed it on the scales that I had in the boat, but I didn't take it to see. It might have been a record at the time if I'd have tried to find out, but I wasn't worried about no record because every record you get, one of them's going to be broke sooner or later, you know. Well, if I don't know that we're he's old. I think he's drawing his disability. His not his disability. His Social Security. So he's probably somewhere around your age. And he was a tree climber up until about 3 months ago, and he was still climbing trees at 65, I guess it was, and cutting them and cutting tops out of them. He called me up and he said, Roger, I'm going to retire. And I said, well, it's about time. I've been retired since 92. I'm 88. I'm 80 years old, but as long as I can get around good and go fishing, I'm going to go fishing. But if I ever come down that way, I'll try to get a hold of you on this web page and let you know I'm coming. We'll work out something with email or something to get an address from you and not get it out online. We just got through getting David's boat redone, he's little things that was had to have gas tank cleaned out. His wife got cancer, and he had to let it sit for a while, and it got old gas in it, messed carburetors up. But I took a middle carburetor up because it was the first one to feed, plus the other two, and it fed the middle one first, and it was clean. And so all I did was uh, leave the other two on, hook it back up, and uh, let her go with that, and it started up and run like a champ. Now, if that middle one was dirty, you had a good chance that the other one being dirty inside too. But it wasn't gummed up or anything. I told him, I said, if you want me to, I said we can take that thing apart and rebuild it in 4 to 5 days. Take us more longer to get the parts, and we'll put them together. Because a boat engine is just a vacuum chamber. You seal that thing good, and it'll run forever. And you can get a lot of people are scared of putting the bearings in them. If you don't want to put the bearings in grease and make them stay in place, you can buy encased bearings, and they'll fit right in where they on the rod, just like they're made for, and which they are. Last boat our engine I rebuilt was a 115 horse. When I took it apart, and oh about 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, I got diagnosed with cancer. I had a big spot come up on the right side of my face or neck, and about the size of a softball. Time I got home, got it looked at, and I put all my parts to my motor in boxes. And about 5 years later, after I got to where I beat the cancer, and well, still beating it so far, about 12 years now, and going on 13, 14, I guess. Uh, I got that them boxes back out. I told my son, I said, "Come over and I'll let you help me put my boat back motor back together." He said, "No, I don't want nothing to do with it. That motor ain't never going to run again." I said, "What makes you think that?" He says, "You don't remember where the parts are go." I said, "I remember where every part of it go. That ain't the first one I've rebuilt." I said, "I've rebuilt a lot of it." And so I put it together. He told me, he said, "When you go to start, I won't be there." I told him, I said, "Well, you come over early in the morning," because I said, only thing I've got left to do is put the uh, carburetors back on it. And I got it on the stand all right. I got it hooked up to a dummy uh, gas tank, and we'll start it up. And he come over. He got there just about the time I was putting the last carburetor on it. And he said, "How you know you got in time?" I said, "Don't you worry about it. It's in time. Of course, Abel won't wake and go if you got everything lined up like it's supposed to be. It's in time. Now you can adjust, or you can advance through or retard it just a little bit. If you didn't bother the adjustments on it, it's going to be fine anyhow." And I balanced every piece of that before I put it back together. I had plenty of time, and I took my tools and I balanced it, grounded and balanced it, and got all the excess metal off of the ones that was heavier. And I took it all to the lightest one, and all the pistons with them put together, the bearings on them and everything. I took all of them down to the lightest one, and some of them I had to take as high as an ounce and a quarter off of them because they're not balanced when they come from the factory. They're They can be as much as an ounce different than all of them. That's the reason they shake so much when they're idling. But you get one balanced, they'll sit there and run like the smoothest sewing machine. And that thing, and I got ready to fire it up. I said, "How many turns do you think it's going to turn?" I was squeezing my pump bulb up. And he said if it starts, it'll be several 25 or 30 turns for it get the gas done. I could squeeze that bulb up real hard, and I tell you, David, it didn't turn two revelations before it fired off. Just anyway, and started just like that. And that thing sat there and it run just as smooth. He said, "Well, I never would have believed it." And my next door neighbor, he was over there too, and he said, "Well," he said, "I believe it because he scared the heck out of me one time. He rebuilt the engine with me. We rebuilt it, and he set the timing on it, and he told me to click it over because he was doing something. I can't remember what it was that I was adjusting, but I told him, I said, click it over, but don't let it start because we're not quite ready to start it yet. But I said, it'll start if you click it too far." And he clicked that button, and I had it just a tad uh, before starting point. And when he kicked it over, it had gotten a little gas to it, and it started. It never even turned a full revolution. It started as soon as that spark hit that one plug, and scared him to death. He thought he'd caught my fingers and everything in the world, but I had my fingers out waking. I know how quick my engines start. And he, uh, Coleman told him, says, "Yeah," says, "when he puts one time, it's ready to go." Oh, well, David, I done been on this thing almost an hour, and I guess I better go fix a bite of supper. We call supper up here. I don't know what y'all call it. I'm no redneck, and it's breakfast, dinner, and supper to me. Most people just out for supper and dinner is uh, reversed, but they don't even use supper most of the time. They just breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But anyhow, David, I greatly appreciate talking with you. I've enjoyed it, and when I get on, it's usually around 5 o'clock in the afternoon because I try to work out my garage quite a bit. Right now, I'm putting some boat seats together, putting new backing on them and new seat on them. I'm using the old foam power cords for it, and so I'm making a power cord for it. And I had to take it apart, find out which one was a hot wire, and because I didn't want to blow it, and I do little things like that down my garage. But I greatly appreciate you being with me, and glad you signed up and hit that like button. And we'll talk to you on the next one, David. And join in with me anytime you can, but I appreciate it. So we're going to cut this one off.